Hi Prateek. Hi Joel. Hi Priyanka. Cool. So I'll not take much time and we'll get started. If people are joining, make sure that you guys are happy Holi, everyone. Make sure that you guys are posting your questions in the chat. Today, I don't have any specific. Uh, if you guys have attended my sessions before, I have talked about data science and maybe some of the technical parts as well, right? We had session around how to build an AI solution without using any code, right? And even what is machine learning, and a little bit in the terms and jargons we have talked about. Today is more towards the career part, right? And uh, maybe a lot of pressures are there who want to get into this domain, and internships, or you can see the projects under the internships, and or you can say the early job. I'll not say a call as directly the job, but while learning or while studying, how you can get some hands-on experience of some of the work which can actually land you a really nice job, or maybe the work profile which you are aiming for, right? Or which you are preparing for, and while you're still learning and studying. So that's the biggest thing. And I think so we're going to talk about that today. Okay, so how to land data science internship. So basically we'll talk about how to get into a data science space when you are even studying and working. Okay, and yeah, I'll not say even if you are I'll say at least not first year students would be difficult, but at least you are after second year, you're pretty much into your domain, like whatever domain you are studying in. So how you can look up to curriculum or whatever the course you are in, right? So right now, if you see, even I had some what a language. Okay, keep posting it. I'll answer it a little bit later on in the end. So if you see, it depends first of all what kind of stream you guys are in, right? And I'm seeing there are a lot of transition and happening in data science, AI, machine learning. Within the courses, technical courses, if you are like, mostly if you are in BTech or in yeah, MSc or PSC, similar domains, right, which is very much related to the computer domain, uh, even IT, right, and code fields you have of engineering. There is a lot of new courses which is even the colleges are promoting, right? I had them and there, if you see their curriculum, when I've interacted with the faculties, right, they are as an elective courses they are suggesting to the students. So where apart from having like their main core branches like electronics, electrical, mechanical, civil, which is totally non CS and non IT branches, right? Where major focus is on core engineering. There also it is getting recommended, and they are students are getting options to elect some of the data science AI related subjects, so they can become you can say aware about this technology. They can learn the basics of those things along with their core engineering branch, whatever they are going to work on, right? So that is really good thing. If you guys are into some of those institutes who are really helping you in grooming you in those things, it's really fantastic. If not, if you are already a part of a curriculum, right? Because see, especially the you can say the engineering, they have a lot of subjects, especially in the core branch itself. It's already there, right? Now, adding some of the new subjects and topics onto your learning part, right? It's going to be a little bit challenge, but it's going to be really good for your future, or maybe your futuristic jobs which you are looking up for, right? And I'm talk about going to talk about that also, that how you can look. So one good thing is, if you so two things which I have talked about in last sessions also. So that's why it's really good to people who are really joining sessions every week. So what good thing is, like, you'll able to connect to me in a really good way. Okay, so one thing is skills, right? So if you see, again, I'll talk about this today, the two three major skills which is very much required to work in data, in any of the job role, or you can say similar domain of data science, right, is basic programming part, like basic programming at least, because it's very tough to any non-engineering students, and also from non-CS IT students to get good coding, or you can say programming, getting those skills, right? Because it's not a part of their course branch. And there many students just feel that okay, it's going to be really difficult for us to get into that. But you really don't have to be a fantastic coder, or you don't have to go and solve lead code problems or very high you can say competitive level programming questions, right? You don't have to. You should be able to code into a very basic programming so you can solve some of the problems. I'm not saying like just simple print and those two statements, but at least basic programming you should know, right? If I ask you, hey, can you read this file and get some data from it and then do some operations, like for example, right? If you so think like how you will be doing, right? You're analyzing some data, you have to do some of those processing techniques and all those things. So you should be able to do with the code part, right? So that is pretty much what is being required. So for example, if I'm asking you today, oh, given in this data, if it's there, like let's talk about some of the maybe mechanical students. Like, so there is a data which is coming up from a machine, right? The mechanical machines or the fluid dynamics and all. There's stream of data coming, and you have to calculate pressure or some other terms from that big data which is coming up, right? So you might be using some formulas and all, but in terms of data, how you can calculate that and create an automated process by which can it do, right? So think of how a solution driven approach you can create. So something like that you can think, right? In your domains, basic programming will really help you. Second thing, I believe most of the engineering student, the really great part is about the mathematics, like the engineering mathematics. And even we feel like why we are really, yeah, there will be recording for these sessions, and even on my YouTube channel, you will be able to get it. So don't worry. So one more thing, if you guys look like at the engineering mathematics, right? Most of the people, most of us, when we were in engineering, we were thinking like, okay, why we are really having this, right? And it's really tough. Like the level of mathematics which we it's really too much for actual use which we are going to use them in our lifetime, right? But if you think from research perspective and data science domain, there are some of those algorithms, like if you would have remember Laplace transformation and some of the other mathematic equations and integral differentials which we have done actually uh, in our 11th, 12th, and even in our college. It's actually the basic of machine learning algorithms at some point of, you can say, at some level, right? So if you are really good at basic of those subjects also, right? If you uh, learn them and see how it is going to be impacted in some of the applications of data science, right? It's going to be really great, right? I'm still saying don't go and learn and start doing some another new course on like self-driving car or something, right? You can do if you have time and you are really interested in that, but focus on your only curriculum which you are having right now, right? And try to see what are the things which is really going to be impactful in terms of the applications, the job and work which is going to be like. That's why, so those statistics and mathematics concept which we are learning from our maybe I think 6th standard till maybe your engineering second year is more than enough for you to get started in data science. It just you have to start looking those terms or those I'll say those statistics and mathematical terms in terms of data science. What is the actual relevance? We actually have been not taught in those ways, right? So, for example, the basic. I'll just give you basic example. This is again, I just don't want to get into because we're going to talk about how to get the internship part, but I'm again focusing more on the skill because the moment you have the skill, right, you can crack an interview. And if you can crack an interview, a lot of doors will get open, whether it's for internship or for job. And that is where I'll see many people get stuck. Even I have got stuck a lot of time because I was not able to clear those interviews. And it happens like depending upon what job role, but keep revising, keep your skill is the most important thing in data science domain. So That's why I'm saying you guys have time, you guys have all the resources in the world right now because you have internet, right? So start focusing on those terms, those I'll say those topics which and how you can relate, right? Like let me give you every product we are consuming in this world, right? Like for example, I have this iPhone here, I have this laptop, maybe there's AirPods, there maybe you just have this any spray or any product which we are consuming right now, right? Whether it's a biscuit packet or any food item, just see at the label, the back of that particular product, right? You will see the weight and the quality metrics of that, right? Or how much percentage plus minus weight of that is there. And right, it has passed through a quality check and then you have received that right product. So if they are saying 100 gram of product is there, believe me, it's like they have the complete process. If it is below per, so there is a 99 or 95% confidence there. Like if 100 gram packet is there, if you get 50 gram of product in that packet, you can actually sue that company and then you can charge any amount according to that, right? If you see people actually do that when they don't get the actual product or the thing of that quality after a certain, so if it's 100 gram, if we are getting 99 gram, that is still under that permissible error which can happen due to a lot of different processes, right? So then you can't do go into a company because they have that limit for that, and every product have that margin of error which you calculate. So this is the basics of hypothesis testing. This is the how you will gonna Six Sigma test, and all these things have come from those basics only. But when we actually consume and see, we don't realize. But you start try linking those terms, right? It will really make sense. Like, for example, what is the kind of error like when you are designing a car with, and how much error it can have based on the like brakes and your what do you have that any. Not going to go into those details, Six Sigma testing and say what is Six Sigma and all. It is again have we use those tests to uh, to pass the quality check of any of the product, whether it's a particular software or a product which you're consuming. So start relating all whatever you're learning, and programming and statistics is must if you want to get into data domain. Machine learning is a little bit specialization part, like when you're actually learning some of the machine learning algorithm to get that right. If you can get them, then it's almost you have done more than 50% of your skill part, right? So these are the three major pillar, I'll say: programming, the statistics, because programming is like a tool, right? It's a weapon. Statistics is like your build statistics and mathematics, I'll say, because that will give the base of the whole data part, right? Because whole data, whatever we talk about in terms of data, how it makes sense, how big that data, small, whether it's a good data, bad data, structured, unstructured, all those things will only make in terms of statistics, and then your machine learning algorithm will really help. Okay, so get those skills, whether it's from YouTube, whether you have taken any course from Coursera, Udacity, or any free courses or a paid courses, right? I can make a separate video on what are the different courses available, at what level, what kind of course you can go for. Because even I have been associated with a lot of startups, or you can say the companies who provide complete data science courses, masters, right? Name them up, grad, scalar, late learning. I've been associated with them, doing mentoring them. But take the decision wisely. Like don't jump and get into any courses. And that's why I say just take a gist of this domain and the skill part. And then if you feel that this is something I want to go, then you can go. Okay. So this was the skill part, right? Now let's come to the how you get the internship, right? So first thing is you should have a skill. Nobody is going to listen. Like for example, I want to do an internship in maybe in photography or maybe any other course which is there, right? Because if I'll go to some guy who's a very big photographer and I'll say, hey, can you keep me as an assistant, right? First of all, he'll not be even interested in talking to me if I don't know a simple basics of photography or how to even hold a camera, what are the pixels and all those little bit terms of photography. If I have not done some work, like I have not clicked some good pictures, which from photography point of view, not like a social media or some taken from, even if from iPhone, if you are some good camera phone you have taken, it should be good in terms of photography, like the domain person it should expect, right? Now start thinking in the same thing in terms of data science or on AI, right? Why anybody will give you any internship? First, you should have basic skill or knowledge, right? Like you should be, if they give you some work or they will say, hey, this is a problem, we'll guide you, but you should have basic skill to do that, right? Basic programming knowledge, basic data science and machine learning, basics knowledge at least, like given a data, how you can do that, right? So that's why I've focused very much, like at least for last 10 minutes, I was talking more and more on skill, because if you have a skill, at least it will open a one door for you. Okay. Now, second part is again how to get into the internship. So let's assume we are done with the skill part, right? You are having at least a moderate to solid fundamentals clear. Second is start working. Then if you have done it, now you need a little bit practical knowledge, right? But you'll say, hey, that's why we are looking for internship to get a practical knowledge. Fair enough, really good. But again, you should be able to solve some of the problems. I'll not say the dummy problem, but at least some good basic level problem. And how you will get data. So at least if you would have asked me 4 5 years back, it was a big challenge to at least get some good data and start solving a problem. Today we are in this 2022. We have a huge amount of data sets available in any domain you just talk about, right? Whether it's a real estate domain, to healthcare, to retail, to finance, to any domain you just name it, you will get some or a huge amount of data based on that. What kind of, whether you want to image data, whether you want text data, whether you want structured data, whether you want big data like GBs of data, whether you want small data, you will get it. It's just like what problem you are going to solve. So being in fresher or new, start focusing on one or two good problems. One should be with the structured data. Okay, people just go and start building face detection model and maybe like image segmentation model, and you take us some big deep learning framework, because I've seen that in interviews people doing it. It's good if you have done, but make sure that you have done all the homework of that, like and bits and pieces of those framework and algorithm which you have worked on and you have mentioned in your resume, because it can backfire you, and it has. I have seen that happening, right? So start with very basics, like pick up some projects, like for example, cancer prediction, some small data set. So which is being a research data sets, which is there, which will give you the age of the person and its medical, uh, you can say things, reports, and whether a person has cancer, the diabetes prediction, or whether you can say mm, fraud detection kind of thing, like given this particular data, whether the fraud has happened. Another thing is like loan, credit score prediction, and like whether we should give that particular person loan. So that becomes finance domain, healthcare domain, retail, whether the person will buy or my product or not, right? So every company will have some of the similar domains. So like if you see the customer retention or customer prediction, all those things are very common in industry, right? Every company is going to, in one way or the other, either selling product or service in any domain, right? We'll be talking to the customer, we'll have some marketing team which is going to work on, right? So pick some basic and an easy project first, right? Don't just go into solving a very big problem, and then it might take you a lot of time and you might get stuck. So start with some of these basics problem with the structured data. Take those data, maybe it is going to be in CSV file or any format, right? Read data, do all the processing, EDA, create a good report on that, right? Create a project, at least like a how you submit a project report of any project in your college, right? Try to create a data science project on that particular data set. It could be a very small thing, right? So start picking up that. Then if you have become more skilled, try to start solving one or two Kaggle's problem, right? Or any hackathon problems. So see like what are the companies who are giving. So I remember in early days, even I had some data where like Uber Eats and Zomato and all those people have actually given a lot of hackathon, Mintra, all the startups have actually released some of the other data set in online domain where they, what problem they are going to solve, right? And they, or might be they are thinking of uh, getting some good solutions. They have released those data sets, like whether how you can predict the ETA for your food delivery, right? How accurate you are going to be, right? That's their business model. If how accurate, if they say in half an hour to get a food, if you can have predicted really good, the customer is going to be very happy, and then that's a win-win situation for both. So these are some of the applications and projects which they have even open sourced. So now, if you have solved that particular problem, you have worked really good. Any company who is going to solve or working on that domain, look at your project. We'll really like to have you on board, right? If I am building a fraud detection model today, and or maybe if I'm having a healthcare, working in a healthcare company, and we are solving some good cancer prediction or something like that, and you have worked on to that project, and you have mentioned that into your resume, obviously you will be getting much higher weightage than any other person out there. Like XYZ. So project again plays a important role. So first one was skill, second is project. Pick some good projects. I'm not saying just go and solve all the Kaggle related problems, but pick one problem, good problem, which you can relate to. Like any mechanical person can easily look at some of the mechanical companies who are going working on. Like now, you can just imagine any automobile company, their data, even manufacturing companies, right? Siemens and any other company, just name them. Right? There are a lot of companies, product companies who are building products, right? Require people who have those knowledge, right? Okay. So I'll say not too many projects, but at least two projects. It's good. More than two, it's good. But at least two projects you should have on your resume. So it will give some equal weightage, and it should not be very same. Like it should be a little bit different. Okay, if you have done cancer prediction, then it should be like a little bit different kind of problem. Okay, and if you guys can collaborate with your colleagues, like if you or your friends, right, when you're working on a group, one or two people can solve a good hackathon problem, make a team, then that's a really good thing, because you can read some research paper, see look work of 10 different people who have solved that problem and how they have worked on it. Like that's a lot of learning by itself, right? If you, it's not a 1 or 2 day job. So at least take minimum 1 week to maybe more than 2 3 weeks. If you, it depends upon the problem. Okay. So we have talked about two things. I hope everybody is good and have understood what I've talked about. Right? Any question you have, you can paste it into the chat. And I believe you guys are able relating to this thing. Third thing is now again, now you have your resume ready, you have done your projects. How you're gonna show to the world that you are really ready to get the internship. So this is a really, I'll say, it's not a hard part, but it's a little bit tricky. Okay, tricky in terms like it's not going to be a like suddenly today you have done everything, you've pasted a resume, and like from tomorrow you're going to get like messages of people, and then you'll start getting the it's like now you are hunting, going for a hunt, right? So you have to prepare yourself that these are the things you have back ready with you, your skills, your resume. Now start looking up for those opportunities, and I'll say don't start looking after that. Parallelly, when you are actually up, from maybe from today, when you're actually working on your skills, when you are actually working on your projects, parallelly start looking on LinkedIn and some of the other networking profiles, right? Looking at the groups, some Discord channel, part of some of the groups which is there, like maybe if it's Facebook, any social media platform which you think, right? Uh, Start being part of those groups where people keep on sharing maybe some projects, some posts, some their blog, maybe their job requirements. They are looking up some small gigs, like, hey, I need someone who can do this for me. Hey, can anybody do that? Like, because I am saying you unconventional methods. Obviously, the LinkedIn has, you just put a filter on internship, you will get it, right? You go to naukri.com or any other job portals which is there, like these are again known. There are other specialized job portals, maybe I'll post it somewhere. I'll create a blog, so which is a specialized for jobs for data science and machine learning, and then send the internships also, it's there. But again, believe it, it's going to be a little bit limited, right? It's good you do there, but you can't spend whole day there and start bringing people that, hey, I need an internship, right? That's not going to work. So you do that part. Many people, you know that. That's why you're saying that about the referrals and LinkedIn and all. That will work. I'm talking about unconventional way. You being part of those community like groups. What I'm talking about, like Facebook groups, I don't know how Facebook is going to really help much and all, because there are a lot of noise also. But some LinkedIn groups, right? Some community groups on Discord and Slack, and even Creator has some of the groups, right? So similarly, you can be part of those groups, and where people keep on posting the requirements, and at the same time they keep on looking for the requirements also, right? So so in that way, what will happen, if anything goods come up, you can approach that person. Hey, I know this work, and I'm looking for internship and this, that, right? And there are a lot of senior managers are, and even VPs are sharing a lot of good profiles and or the requirements. And then so if you grow your LinkedIn network also, you will be able to see those opportunity and then can send. Because one way recruiters look, but there's a person, manager, or who are into technical field, look at the profile in a little bit different way. And then it really makes sense. If they really like your work, they will going to give a little bit more extra weightage to you, then speed up your process as compared to any other thing, right? So this is the like the third way to get into the internships part, right? Also, having a resume is good if you can have some portfolios, right? So I think next after maybe after 2 weeks, I can have one session how you can build a portfolio, and I'm actually working on building my portfolio. So without writing a code, right? I'm again not going to tell you that I'm teaching saying go into data science, but you're saying create a portfolio. So I can't build my again website or something, right? Because again, no need to build that. So there are frameworks. You just need to fill your details on that, and you do not even have to host it. You do not have to take any domain name, right? We'll just do it on the GitHub itself, right? I'm going to tell that. So that would be a good thing, I think. So but you guys should be ready till that point to reach to create a portfolio, right? And if you have some portfolio where you have your project, it's like a mini resume thing, and that's really nice, right? If you have something, it shows your professional work thing, whatever work you have done, and that's pretty much. Then you network, connect with a lot of people, send those things. Send anybody's asking, hey, can you give me your resume? You just send that website link and your portfolio link. Anybody can download the resume from there, can see what project you have worked on, can see if any appreciation reward you have got. Everything is there. Like LinkedIn is almost like your mini resume. So make sure that when you're building a resume, you have almost similar things, like not the complete resume, but the summary of that, like the summary of work, summary of your thing mentioned there. Like I remember we do not write so like from which college I am or whatever, but we do not mention what projects we have worked on, what skills we have worked on. So if you are in college, try to use your profile as that, like what project you are working on, right? Maybe start thinking of what going to be your fourth year, final year project is going to be. Maybe you can have the mini version of that submitted in your this time, and then start focusing and working on that, right? So that could be the way you can look up into this thing. So it's more of like a three-step process, which I've talked about: skill, project, and then your networking and your and that is good if you have some job, like a really good paid internships, which can you can get converted into a full-time job. And also look for startups. Like startup community in India is booming. Like I think you guys know you people are have would have watched Shark Tank and all, like it's no longer you can say like startups are no longer being looked down, or it's looked up actually in India at least. So you can think in those terms and look at some of the startups who are working good and all, right? If you have worked on something on some cool idea, like if you have worked on some eye retina, using eye retina, you can detecting a disease. These are the actually open problems. Or maybe you are able to detect and solve some problem which any of the guy like in Shark Tank, or any co-founder will really love to see your work. But you should have be ready with that concrete result to show, right? You can just tag them in their LinkedIn and they say, hey, I worked on this project, it really looks good, then we can have a talk, right? If you're solving somebody's problem and you think it's a legitimate problem, then then getting a job is a very small thing, I'll say. Okay, cool. So this is pretty much I just wanted to talk today. Any questions? I'll start taking up the questions. So feel free to add more questions. What type of languages should I learn to get data science internships? Python is good enough for the time being. Don't start into too many languages. Language is just a way. Python is preferable language. How can I switch to tech internship for mechanical engineering students? Same thing, right? The mechanical engineering students, the companies are looking up for your mechanical engineering basics knowledge. That is the first thing. Parallelly, if you're looking for data science and AI related people who are getting or the mechanical engineering background people or the companies who are looking for some person who good automation, work on those skills as well. Parallelly, show them that hey, I am a mechanical, but I'm really interested into I'm like a data science and AI worked on it. They will really appreciate if you have done something out of the box, right? So how can final year student apply for full-time jobs in data science? Again, it's very similar, which we have talked today. Try to create your own profile. It's gone are the days even in IIT and big top companies, uh, it's where the companies are surely going to come to the campus and all these things are going to happen. There also you have to make sure that you are out of the box from which they are already out of the box, but in that thing also, if some dream companies are coming, they are going to build you to that extent. So it's one of the same way you have to prepare yourself with the skill project and your portfolio. It's just their networking part would be less because they don't have to struggle. Companies are coming to there. Here in the off campuses part, you have to reach out to the companies. You can't just go because now off campuses are very less. It's happening completely online. So make sure your online presence really makes sense, right? You just can't go into 10 different offices and uh, go for the off campuses like how it's happened in Bangalore, Pune. Like off campuses are still happening, but it's happening in the online manner, right? Where they maybe in the single or 2 day they are calling a lot of people for the calls and videos. So how they will find you because your online presence, your LinkedIn profile, your resume, everything should be updated. Do company consider colleges full-time research projects as relevant work experience? If it is really good, it is up to a level that they feel like, okay, you have solved a really good problem with maybe you have uh, written a research paper with the help of your professor and something, it's good, right? Like maybe in how it happens in ISC and some colleges. If you have worked on some good project, then if you are solving some dummy projects and hackathon problem, it becomes a challenge to make that like how relevant it is going to the company. What online course would you suggest for a fresher who is hard working and eager to learn? There are plenty of, but just don't go with the name or anything. Start look what they are offering, why what they are offering, what are going to be fulfilled. Like that, I'll say I have no biases toward any of the uh, online courses, but some good courses, which is I think every industry expert, we like in data science, AI, who have transitioned also, and even people who are upskilling look for courses from Coursera, which is a really great platform and being provided like top notch thing. So Coursera is really good. I'll recommend any day. How many projects should we do? LLE around two. We could do referrals work well for internship, and how can get reference on LinkedIn and heck. Yeah, that's thing. Reach out to a lot of people, see if they are asking for some requirements, and see if maybe reach out to the people you think like they have something in their bucket for you. So before even answering, hey, I'm looking for internship, create a complete message for them like, hey, this is me, I have done something I'm interested in, this is that I have done, and then see that is there something for me, I will like to work on that, right? Just don't say, hey, I'm looking for a referral, like see, we get this and people really don't react because it's difficult like to react to everything, but you have very specific uh, message, you will get response. So that's a pretty much hit like how you convey your message. so when hiring young people, what type of skills do you look for? Basics, like again, Naveen, if you are asking the basics, uh, yes, exactly. The basics of programming, basics of SQL, basics of machine learning and data science, if that is the domain. So again, stick to your basics and then talk about Because if you have talked about really great project and some big things if you have done and they have asked you questions which is the very basics, if you have not answered them, then it becomes a contradict, especially for the young people. Like if I'll say I have 6 7 years now, and if they ask me some very basic question, I might not be able to build, like I have not worked for, or I'm not constantly studying those topics, so I might get, you can say I might lose some of the technical terms or something, right? That can happen. But basic thing which anybody will, or fresher will expect this is to be the technical part and the basics. Do they check our GitHub also if you have mentioned your GitHub profile, and if they see it's really good, yeah, it really gonna impact. Do we have opportunities, more opportunities, Emil? I think it's there. You just look the opportunities. Just go to LinkedIn and search any job profile, even internships. You will see at least 20, 30K anytime, like 50K opportunities would be there in India itself, I'm saying. So based upon what year of experience and then what their requirements are, well, there's huge opportunity. It's just getting started. So those who think like it gets, it will take at least, I'll say, 8 to 10 years from now to get saturated to some. Can we get internship outside India? Yes, you can get. And this is a perfect time where we are working remotely and companies are looking for talent who can work remotely. And if they like it, they might call you. That's a totally different topic, but but they're looking for people and they might give you a really good thing if you, again, pass on all the three things which we have talked about. Skill, project, and your profile matches their requirement, right? So start reaching out to those people. See if, I'm not saying start tagging Elon Musk and every other person you know, but start looking for someone who has working on some good problem solving. Follow them, see if they have worked on it, and then try to reach out to them. If you see that if I'll reach out to this person and if I'll put my word and if he'll listen to me, I can get an opportunity. Then that's the best way. It's different actually. The uh, outside part is just like if you are looking for internship and some project and then you can solve, that can really happen very easily, right? The only part comes with the job contract and all, where many companies and many people hesitate because there's a whole, you can say, job, there's a lot of legal processes which you can get into, because offering a job in, outside India will require a lot of, you can say, what's the job description, whether it's for outside India basis, then are you a resident of that, and now they have to go through all those things also. If they are ready with that, they can offer you and they can call you. That happens. But for internship, it's really easy because they want to look up for some work, and if they like your work, they can take full time. But again, the approach is you have to reach out to them, or maybe you have to start looking up where they are posting those queries and work. And maybe freelancing is also could be a word good thing, but for freelancing you have to be a really good. So that's why I'm not suggesting the freelancing word. But look if there anybody who is offering a good opportunity outside India. Is it okay to stick to single domain like ML, DA, or we need to gain more knowledge of the domains? Domain, I'll say no. Domain wise, like ML, AI, data analytics, and is again becoming more and more niche into their specifications. But again, the basic data analysis, machine learning is good enough. Like, but don't get into too many domain. If, good if you have some understanding of, or you worked on a project like a healthcare related project and retail related project. It's good, but you do not have to have domain of all the knowledge of all the domains. So that's pretty much okay. Like, you can't have actually, so it doesn't make sense. Okay. So that's why I always say look for the project. So if you have worked on one or two projects, Zoom will automatically come into that picture. So that will help in that way. Okay, cool. So I think we are already out of time, and thank everyone for connecting. If you have any question, post on the LinkedIn, YouTube, or any other channel which we have. Even after that, you guys can directly connect to me. You can uh, send me your invite or messages directly on LinkedIn. Okay. Yeah, it might take time, but I'll respond. I'll just share my LinkedIn profile with you if you guys want. I believe you'll be able to access that directly, but okay. So thanks everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.